If you haven't experienced it personally, you most likely know someone who has. It's osteoporosis, one of the most common problems that come along with aging. According to the Mayo Clinic, bone is living tissue that is always being broken down and regrown. Osteoporosis occurs when the creation of the new bone does not keep up with the removal of old bone. For Carolyn DeAngelis, the subject of osteoporosis is nothing new.
My mother has osteoporosis, and I had been tested for osteoporosis.
Oh, you had been tested. A bone density test?
Yes.
And the doctor then revealed that you had that.
Absolutely.
And you're fairly young for that at the time.
Yeah.
In your 50s.
I was 55 when I had the first initial test.
Following a recent fall off a retaining wall, Carolyn turned to American Senior Communities for help.
I think I had had experiences with family members, particularly my elderly mother and father, that I knew that rehab helped them to recuperate faster when they'd had injuries or had surgeries. So the first thing I thought was, I want to go to rehab. I think it's really important to be at rehab and to get myself well quickly, and also to know how to care for myself correctly. I really take two different kinds of therapy. My first therapy is a therapy I do for my upper body strength. Because I have a broken arm, I have to strengthen my right arm to be able to use it for lifting. The other part of my therapy is to get me back walking because of my pelvis injury. And so it's some pretty intense walking exercises and weight lifts.
So what has Carolyn learned from all of this?
I think it's always important to recognize that if you have information about family history, that you do get tested early. And you do everything that you can to make sure your bones are as strong as possible so that when you do fall, you maybe minimize the severity. And in my case, my injuries could have been much, much worse than they are.
Carolyn is not the only one utilizing the expertise offered at American Senior Communities. Alma Spruill turned to them following spine surgery.
I've had 2 hips replaced and 2 knees replaced beside my back.
Alma works with a therapist here at ASC and enjoys walking on the treadmill and riding the stationary bicycle. But her journey has not only been a physical one.
I live with chronic myeloid leukemia.
Oh, really?
And I've had breast cancer, which I've had both of them off. And it's hard to go through all of this stuff and still be happy.
You seem like a happy woman.
Now I am. Going through all of that, plus the death of my husband, it's...
This place
Yes.
is pretty special to you.
Yes, this place is special.
Registered occupational therapist Dan McKenzie explains what we should all look out for and at what age.
50 and over are probably more typical population, although there are cases where it can happen in your 30s and 40s. That's more of a genetic component to the younger generation, but typically 50 and over. You know, it's actually known as a silent disease. A lot of times people can have this condition for a number of years, not really have any pain, not really struggle, until they might pick up something off the floor, not even heavy, and they fall, which can also lead to fractures.
Dan offers these helpful tips on how to help maintain healthier bones.
Calcium supplements, there's obviously vitamin D plays a role with that too, because if we have appropriate amount of vitamin D, we can then absorb calcium appropriately in the body. So those two things are kind of interconnected. So absolutely, supplements, there are some hormone replacement therapies out there. It's been around for years. That's also effective as well from a medication standpoint.
So now we've seen how American Senior Communities and you can beat osteoporosis. I'm Mike Ahern for Boomer TV.